today. I think Brian and Wade will kind of go back and forth and take turns answering asking the questions. So anything that y'all want, okay, just kind of play off of each other. So let me start by saying I am excited to be at Rabun County, and Brian and I talked a few minutes ago. I have been very fortunate over my 33-year career to be at some pretty special places. Been in Valdosta, which is won more football games than anybody else in the country. Been in Peach County and won some state championships, and none of those are as special as this place in my heart. They're all special, don't get me wrong, okay? They are all really, really special, and each one of them has a special meaning to me. Being back home makes everything a little bit different, and I am super, super passionate about this community. And our number one goal will be to put a product on the field that you will be proud of after a 48-minute battle. In terms of the way we get off the bus, in terms of the way we take the field, in terms of our body language, in terms of the way we play the game from an effort standpoint, from not mattering if we're up by 21 or down by 21 standpoint. You should see the same group of guys playing with the same passion. So all of those things are super, super important to me. Our word for the year is elite. And what that means to me is elite in everything that you do. It's not something that you turn on and turn off. It's something that we become. It becomes an expectation. It becomes a standard. It becomes our bar that we reach for each and every day. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over and let Wade. Do you want to start with me, or do you want to start with the guys?
I guess I'll start with a good question. Obviously you guys have been at it for a couple months now. Your first year, just go over like how that's been for you. First year back in Rabun with these guys. You get a good class of seniors here. Most of the guys are seniors at this table. Just talk about the process has been, coming back to the community, getting to know these guys, and getting these guys ready to work for this upcoming season.
Yeah, so it's been exciting. It really has, and like any transition, it's a struggle. It's a struggle for them to kind of learn the new expectations, to understand what we're trying to accomplish in the weight room, to understand what a drill is. And I said a minute ago that a lot of how we do this year will be how quickly we're able to make those transitions. And I think everybody thinks about schematics, and learning a new defense, learning a new offense, but it's a lot more than that. And it's what we're trying to accomplish with the drill. It's what coach is talking about when he means to play fast. What coach is talking about when he's talking about processing fast and putting you in a pressure situation. Okay, and I think if you get a group of guys, especially your senior class, that accept that really quick, buy into that really quick, then you're going to be more successful. And I think it's human nature for us all to kind of dip your toe into it and kind of see how this goes, and not sure if I want to buy in. But to this group's credit, okay, I will tell you this. If you come and you watch us against other teams, we still bust, we still make mistakes, but we play hard. For the most part, we learn how to get on and off the field. We have good body language, and we're the best conditioned team that we've seen so far. All right, and those are the things that will be core values in our program. And so what I'm telling you is you're seeing that buy-in from this group. So that's going to show on the field eventually.
Coach, can you go back to when you first found out about the opportunity to come back to Rabun? What was that like when you heard that there was an opportunity there, and what was the first conversation you had with your players and coaches like?
Again, it was super exciting for me. to have an opportunity to come back here. This is really no secret. I'm 56 years old. I've been doing this for 33 years. This is my last stop, and hopefully it'll be down the road. But to be able to end my career here is really special. And, it's one that I wouldn't want to pass up for.
Going on Brian, being from Rabun County, playing at the Wildcat, what kind of advantage do you have from other coaches that are in different schools? Like they don't have that,
Sure.
that history. Like this is home field in your heart. So talk about that. Just your mindset.
I think that may be a better question for him than it is for me. But I would hope that they see a guy that relates to them. I would hope that they see a guy that there's no question that he's passionate about what he's doing every day. Because I promise you, I'm very passionate about what I'm doing. And a lot of that has to do with me being from this community. And football's important. And so take that responsibility very serious. All the things that I said, I want to represent our community, represent our school. Because when we step off the bus, wherever it is, against any opponent, there will be people in that stadium that their only way to form an opinion about our community is these guys right here. Okay, the way they step off the bus, the way they play the game, and all of those things I said. So that's a huge responsibility for us, and one that we take very seriously.
I'll look at the players first off to the seniors. Last ride here, you guys, majority of you guys are here seniors. Freshman, sophomore, junior, you guys have had a lot of wins, a lot of victories, and there's been a lot of different senior classes that have kind of paved the way for this program to be what it is today. What's the mark you guys want to leave on this program this last year?
It's the same thing here. It's trying to do what nobody else is doing. A lot of us sitting here have played. I know Bobby, Reed, we've all played a lot of snaps. I think we're very experienced together. It's just do what we do.
Vision feel different this summer, outside of the last three. And you kind of feel like it's going to be a good year.
I mean, I think practice, it's almost more game-like practice. I think everything is centered towards the game. You know what I'm saying? So I think in that you'll be.
Reed, got a question for you, man. You learning a new offense, new defense, the different looks of that. Talk about the challenge of taking on both of those tasks at the same time and still doing what you do and playing just about every snap of every game.
It's just, learning it. It's just, can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, just the mindset, the challenge of having to learn a new look on offense and defense, and also maintaining that physicality where you're able to play every snap, every down.
It's just learning it. We're getting to know it better, and I feel like we got a lot more defenses going down the pass, give us a better opportunity, and the offense, I feel like we're opening up the field more in the passing game, and I feel like it'll be good.
Reed, I'll ask you about just talk about that running back room as a whole. At education, it's probably one of the best running back rooms in the state. So just talk about that depth you guys have. You made some really good plays. You got a lot of snaps to run back. Talk about getting to share the ball with this really good ball carrier.
It's really nice, especially after playing a lot of snaps on defense, getting a little break, and having somebody else just as good come in and run it, and be able to still do what we do.
Jay, talk about your role of playing both ways on defense and offense, carrying the ball. This summer you look really good, you get a lot of snaps. You talk about learning that role and running that position here this fall, playing both ways.
It's definitely different, just having a work spot. Just never really playing, never really playing. So it's kind of, it's going to take a while for me to learn.
Ty, I got a question for you. Just obviously you've been unfortunately hit by the injury bug so many times, but so two-part question: what have you sort of been focusing on in the off season to hopefully try to prevent that as much as you can? And then secondly, the injuries don't define you, but sort of how your mindset of being able to overcome those do. What do you feel like you've learned about yourself and that you can use on the field by what you've overcome?
I think on the first question, it's really just, heck, I think the stronger you get, the less likely you are to get hurt. So kind of hitting the weight room as hard as I can. And then really, it hadn't been easy. Coming out last year after so much work, getting back healthy, and then the first game, you go down, it's tough on your mind, not only on your body. A lot of thoughts running through your head. So just kind of staying tough mentally. I got one.
I want to go over the defense a little bit. Bang, pop, really all you got is on top play defense. You talk about this defense this year. Coach Stewart coming in today, just the excitement around the defense, and it seemed like the stance you guys were going through defense is in a really good spot for you guys. So if any of you guys talk about how the defense has developed on the last year.
Just feel like we got a lot more different coverages and run a lot more different defenses. Just run and don't run different defense, different play, and
I think that we're able to run a lot more plays this year because we're trusting more our defense is. So we're going to be able to open up some more studs. It's significant we haven't been able to open pass in the first year. So that's looking forward to that.
If you want to talk about heading up that defensive line, what excites you most about that defensive line?
I would just say that our get-offs are pretty good. We got Ryan, he's young, but he's experienced. Joe's coming back, that's going to help. It's really just focusing on the little things that just over and over. This is what we got to keep doing. We're getting better as the season's going already. So it's looking pretty good out there for us.
Reed Burrell, talk about steps you've taken to sort of emerge. You've been doing it in basketball, but just emerging as a playmaker in football as well, and talk about what you're seeing out of the wide receiver room.
I think that we've all just been working hard. We're learning new plays, learning how to run the routes, learning our landmarks, learning break points, just getting where we need to be so the tight gets the ball.
First year, last year, with time, with no one Reed, you got a lot of snaps, made a lot of big plays, and a lot of big moments. What's next for you this coming season? Obviously playing both ways again, but just talk about also you're coming off of injury this summer. Talk about how you're going to line for that, and kind of hitting up that deep under back.
I think my goal for this season is, as a team, we want to win all 15. And for my injury, just getting stronger in the weight room, like Ty was saying, and mentally, you got to be prepared and ready to take on next season.
Hey, Zach, I got a question for you. Just talk about the pride that you take, and you're going to be anchoring the O-line. Talk about the pride you guys take, and obviously you don't always get all the accolades and praise, but just the pride you take in paving the way for an elite offense.
Yeah, I think I take a lot of pride in it, especially because like in the past, I'm like one of the younger guys out there. I got big and them supporting me, and they're telling me what to do. But this year, I'm making the calls. You know, I'm kind of leading up front, but of course I got Ty and Reed helping me out with the calls sometimes, and really bailing us out when we can't. Because sometimes we can't block everybody, but other than that, I think really I just take pride in like not getting all the like praise and stuff. I think we do get the praise because we get praise through Reed and Ty. They'll get the offers and stuff and get touchdowns, but we get the praise through winning games.
Kind of piggyback off of that. Talk about Ty's been under center a lot this summer. You talk about getting him under center a lot more, not necessarily shotgun, but having that new type of offense that you guys had, just actually snap the ball and like having like no Ty's got it behind you.
It's definitely new. I've never really done it before. It's a little new for me, but yeah, I think it makes it easier to hear Ty, and he can really help us because this year we're doing a new system where we call the mics from the line. Ty's helping us with that. So it's really easy to hear him doing that, but other than that, I mean, it's just playing football in the center.
I know that Ty has been, making calls on the center this year, most shotgun.
It started was very different. Spring ball, we both struggled, but as it's gone on, it's gotten a lot easier. Me and him, I would say, right now, we're on the second pace we've ever been. Like you said, it's how we're doing it. We got to be forward. Somebody's going to be on block. You got to know where we're at. So I think from that standpoint, me and him are very much on the same page.
The word that is kind of getting around after Coach Gillespie took over is just the amount of discipline and structure. For anybody and several of you, what can you kind of give as sort of some concrete examples of what that looks like from the get-go? Like maybe some things that look different in terms of the structure and the expectation being set really high on and off the field.
I think, as he said at the start, he said we're going to be the most well-conditioned team. And you hear a lot of people say that, but I really truly believe that they're putting us in the best spot to be the most well-conditioned team, to be the strongest team. Talk a lot about body language. That's in the process of being fixed. Getting on and off the field, I think that's a big thing. We talk about how you look to another team. If you're walking off the field, that's an opportunity that if we see that, we're going for it. If you see that, so I think just working on what they're instilling in us is a big thing.
We were in the weight room over the last 2 years. I've been here. It seems to be like showing on the field on defense. Talk about your weight room, kind of how it's been weight on the field these last 2 years. And you kind of had to break that here.
I mean, every rep of me, every set I'm able to do, I try to get everything in it, get everything out of it I can. I mean, I'll get tired towards the end of the set, and I can't just give up here because if I give up here, I can probably give up on a Friday or something. So I just try and push as hard as I can in there and just keep that mindset as we go to practice and every practice and do it.
Brian had something.
I had one more just for Jacaden. Kind of, I think am I correct? You're the only non-senior at the table. Is that right? Two of them. Okay. So, yeah, that's right, Fareed. So for both of y'all, what are you trying to glean from this special group of seniors to take forward? I know we're concentrating on this year, but it's important to try to glean what you can from those guys this year.
I would definitely say the leadership, just being around these guys the past 2 years, they've showed me a lot. Like leadership-wise, like being able to lead the defense, because I hear the coaches say a lot about you got to be a leader on defense. Like even though I'm not the oldest or something like that, I still got to be able to communicate with my team and just be able to lead the defense. So being around these guys has truly shown me I got to do that.
I agree with that. These seniors are great leaders. They
start with the region. This region kind of had a lot of shake-up with Commerce, the new head coach, a lot of seniors leaving over. At this academy, had some shake-up, losing some players. This region is really completely different outside you guys. You guys have kind of stayed the course. A lot of guys are returning from last year. Obviously, new coaching staff, it seemed to work really well. And obviously, like Ryan was saying, a lot of discipline, strength this summer. But just talk about tackling this region again. Obviously, you guys need to control some on last year in region play. But talk about preparing for this year. What do you think is different against the same teams?
Much as it is that everybody else, I mean, you say focus on everybody else, but I think it's the big thing right now is focus on us. With the new coaching staff, we just rep everything we can. And if we focus on us and do what we're supposed to do,
And a lot of those games, we're really all those games. Elbert, Commerce, and Academy, 1-score losses. 4 or 6 losses, or 4 or 5 losses last year, 5 losses. So talk about that, those late moments in the game, third, fourth quarter, really the fourth quarter, where it's kind of making break time. And how do you think Coach Gillespie and his coaching staff have kind of prepared you? How you can practice like game-like situations. Do you think that's going to help y'all when you get those close region games? It's 3, 7-point games. You guys can make a super last night.
I said all the time in the weight room. Coach Stewart does a great job. He tells us every rep is a play. If you don't win that rep, you don't win the play. You got to win plays to win the games. And I think going back to being well conditioned, I think last year, you saw it fall off around the fourth quarter, and I think this year will be much better.
Kind of closing out games. Now even so 3 to 5 losses, the loss of Commerce, Elbert, and Academy, all by 7. So you want to kind of elaborate on from a defensive point, from a defensive standpoint, and offensive standpoint, what do you think needs to be different this year for you guys to kind of turn those few points around, turn those 3 losses into improvement?
Just not making mistakes, little mistakes in the beginning of the game. That's what costs us. You can't make mistakes in the first quarter and then try to make up for it in the last. We need to execute all throughout the quarters and get better and better. So we need to focus on the little things more, the little details. So little details will cost you a big game.
I'm good.
You got it. I know you all requested Bill and Clay too.
Yeah, for run back, yeah.
Okay.
Do you have anything else for the players? Good for all players. Is there anything y'all wanted to add?
Brian, do you want to do the players one by one?
Yeah, I can wait till we're done if that's okay. Yeah.
Why don't y'all leave the table and let the 2 coaches sit down?
What's up, Sean?
We talked on the phone when you first took the position. Yes, sir. But I want to ask you, now that you settled in, you've had a lot of time with these guys, and it seems really taking with you. Talk about just the effort in the weight room, on the field, how it's been connected with this new team over the summer.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing we asked for just starting off was a willing attitude, relentless effort, and quality execution. And we appreciate every single day when we walk in the room. I think these guys have caught on with it. I do think that they want it, and it's a lot of fun being around this group. It's a lot of fun being around the guys that are sitting at this table too, the guys that do this interview. But so blessed to be here and be a part of it. I do think I share Coach's vision. We are direct on as far as where we're at as far as what we need to do. And Coach talks about being elite. That's what he preaches all the time, and that's what we preach in the weight room all the time too. And to do that, you have to lift every single day like a champion. You have to come in and be enthusiastic, and you have to bring it every day. And we have no time to be moody. And I want these guys. I know sometimes they'll come in and maybe there's a little bit of a lull once in a while. That's natural. But as far as a group of guys that come in and work and do what they're asked to do, they do it. And so that excites me. I'm fine with that.
Part of the defense, you got a lot of returners from last year.
Yeah.
And a number of those guys were top 5 league tackles on the team.
Yeah.
Talk about how it's been. As a defensive guy, you've been a defensive guy for a long time, starting
Yeah.
with Tech. What's the best thing you've seen from this group of veterans on the defensive side of the ball that's really got you excited about this ball?
I think at the beginning of it, I think if you look at where we were starting off and where we are now, it's night and day, and that's kind of the what you want to see as far as a football team, as far as players. So I think the ability to adapt to it, the ability to have some aptitude, learnability, to be able to keep continuing on. We're still working on a bunch of things. We're not where we want to be, but thank God we're not where we used to be. And that's kind of where we're at. But I do appreciate their effort, and I think what you see is a product of a bunch of guys that are going to run to the football and get after it. So, but I would say, in the front, Ethan's up here. He's a headsy guy. He's going to help us a bunch. Dane on the other side, athletic. Dane was a linebacker, so he's more of a drop in now kind of guy, defensive end guy. The Ryan mentioned Ryan Yearwood. Ryan probably, maybe had best spring. Like his relentless effort and motor and everything. I think he's exceptional. I love working with my linebackers, JK up here. I think JK is going to be a great football player. I think he's going to show people a lot of things this year too. Mark Brady's learning his way, and then Lake's the athlete on the thing, so Lake can do a lot of things as far as being an athlete. Lake didn't get a lot of defense last year. He's getting a lot of defense this year. And so, and you're going to see him do a lot of things. Back there, with Burrell being a little new there too, but he's got, what I'm excited about with him is his adaptability. I think he plays that position very well because he's a guy who plays a lot of basketball also, but he's just an athlete, but he also understands the game. Reed Giles, we probably don't have to say a lot about him because he's going to be an all-state guy. He's an all-state at both sides. I think. There's guys that make plays, and then there's guys that make plays and go, whoa, that was something different. And once in a while, and I even called him one night, to tell him, hey, that was the day that you showed me it looked like, man, you're a college football player. You look like it just on a couple of plays and you see it happen. And I think that's a separation from good to elite kind of thing. And so excited about those guys. And we got a group of corners. Sean sitting right here. He's worked his way into the lineup. And again, he's moved himself from linebacker to corner, so he's going to do a lot of things with Sean first. And so, and we got a couple other guys I think are going to be great for us. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. So I'm looking forward to them continuing to grow because every day, every camp, everything we do, we see. Again, it's not where we wanted to be yet, but it's not where it used to be. So we're fine.
Coach Stewart, I had one for you as well, and you sort of hit on this already, so it may sound a little repetitive, but a lot of these guys we know, we've seen what they've done on Friday nights, but who's maybe a couple, 2 or 3 that have maybe even surprised you a little bit and sort of coming along quicker than you thought they would? Maybe some younger guys that nobody's really heard outside of Rabun County before?
Yeah, I think like I said, I think Ryan has shown a huge spark inside, and I think we'll have guys that show up. We've been trying to figure it out, like who now we keep trying to settle down to who those guys are. I think I think Reed Burrell on point too. I thought we weren't like, oh, he's going to be the starting safety, but I think right now he's kind of solidified himself. Right now, he's worked his way into that position. Not that maybe that's not might not be a surprise, but maybe it was to me. I don't know. But I do think there's a couple guys like that where they may have been more offensive oriented, and then you're like, oh no, now I think he's going to be our guy there. So yeah, I'll let that answer.
That's good.
A lot of guys want to do football. A lot of guys play both ways. From your experience, have you seen much of that in your coaching career?
As far as guys playing both ways?
Playing both ways, right? And how do you kind of handle that?
And candidly, yeah, no, I haven't. And so really the transition for me has been a lot of guys playing both ways. That's been a transition for me. And it's different in the amount of time you get with each individual for, whereas if Reed Giles is, he's top-notch running back, he's also top-notch safety, then you're having to split time as far as your coaching time. That's kind of the biggest, I guess, the hardest thing to work through is trying to figure out how do you get the most quality time, but then also not burn a kid out because every day they're learning two different things. So, but it takes special kids to do it, and I think call the kids that can. Was that an answer to the question?
Did you really? I wanted to talk to you about the running back. He's in this offense for the last few years, and it's going to be key this year. You get all your guys back in the past few years. Talk about, I guess, first of all, the majority of these guys being seniors. Talk about going through this whole process when they're 4 years in high school, now they're seniors. Most of them, and kind of like what's the expectation for those guys and what's exciting for those guys?
Yeah, it's been fun. For starters, I've known Reed since he was in 7th grade, and then with Blake and JK, kind of getting with him within the last couple of years. It's been a really fun process because obviously we know what they can do on the field, what you can see from them. But it's been really good to see them grow and transition into really good players and turn into good fundamental guys back there, working within the scheme. The expectations for them, honestly, I think their expectations of themselves are the highest, but it's just to be who they are. Because, who they are is really dang good players, and they're high effort guys. They're really strong in the weight room. They're really good in the meeting room. They're well studied to ask questions when they need that, and they enjoy being coached. So I think their expectations are probably higher than they've ever been, but I think it starts out with the expectations they have for themselves.
Obviously, as a kid, anything is addition to run back and your high motor down on defense seems to translate well run back. Just talk about his development.
Yeah, I think he was really fired up about it. Me and him kind of joked about it. Back in the winter, we were in class some. And then we got the chance to get him. He was really excited. And what's been great is he's hung on every word. He's asked questions. And I've noticed, he's been a sponge and he's picked up stuff. And he's kind of closed those gaps and developed so quickly. And anytime you try to give him just a little bit of a coaching point, he's eyes and ears on. He's, yes, sir. And then he's asking questions, how can I do this? And he's really kind of climbed just as we go. So I'm really excited about him this year and in the future. So I think it's going to be a really good guy.
Coach, we keep hearing that word elite, and we know what this offense can do, and also defensively. But when you're talking about in the backfield, you got 3 studs back there, and then of course you get Ty under center. So talk about the unselfishness of this group, because there's only one football. We all know that. So these group of guys seem like they're pretty unselfish, and as long as rising tide lifts all boats, kind of thing. So can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, for 3 years, over the last 3, I've never had a guy say, I want the ball here or I want the ball there, but they're always willing to tote it. They're always willing to go. And, if one of them scores, the others are the first one to beat them. You never know who it's going to be. And that's what's fun about it. You get to celebrate different ones all night and you get to talk to them. They're all a little bit different in their own, but you got a lot of fireworks back there. And the biggest thing is you got all of them with their eyes and their mind on the same mission. So it's been fun, and it speaks a lot of who they are, as people, not just as great players.
Sharing with guys on the defensive side of the ball, you've had a couple years of experience with Reed, obviously, playing both ways. Talk about this year where all the entire running back are playing both ways. Talk about that.
Yeah, that's really a first, but it's one of those things where for us to be the best product, those are some of your best players, and you want them on both sides of the ball. The good news is really with having 4 of those older guys, because Sean's a senior in that group too, is you have to split them up and you have to split time. But when we come off, when we've been in camps or in 7-on-7s, we come off, it's like, all right, who's ready? And usually it's the first one I can get my hands on, and you got 4 options. So whoever you can get there, they're ready to roll in. And even with the guys that are playing so many snaps, they get a 1 or 2 play break. They're usually right on the hip. Hey, I'm ready. I'm here when you need me. So it's not been as much of an adjustment. But they're tough guys that want to play both ways and they want to win, and they know that that's a part of it. So they've made it simpler than it could be. For sure.
How was that, Coach? Like you said, 1 or 2 plays later, they're back over there ready to back in. How is that?
That is fun because you always got bullets in the chamber. Just reach back, grab the next one. If we can roll 3-4 fresh bodies in there, it's going to help us work people down.